At 3:47 a.m. in the Salinas Valley, the fog comes in off Monterey Bay and settles low across 8,000 acres of romaine. It is cold, not the kind of cold that keeps people inside, the kind that sharpens everything. Jacket collars up, breath visible, hands already working. 26 workers are staging at the edge of a field that stretches further than headlights can reach. The crew leader, a man named Rogelio, who has worked this valley for 19 years, checks his radio and gives one word in Spanish: "Vámonos, let's go." By 4:10 a.m., the first cutting pass has already begun. This is the Salinas Valley, Monterey County, California. The locals call it America's Salad Bowl, and the name isn't exaggeration. This valley, about 90 miles long and 15 miles wide, produces more than 70% of the nation's head lettuce and a commanding share of its romaine, leaf lettuce, and spinach. On any given day, from April through October, dozens of harvest gangs are working across the valley floor, each moving in precise coordinated rows, each racing against a clock that never stops. The shelf doesn't care about the fog. The truck doesn't wait for tired legs. And the lettuce, once cut, has a window measured not in days but in hours. The harvest here doesn't follow a traditional growing season. It follows a migration. Every year, when California's inland summer turns the Salinas floor too warm for quality greens, typically late October into November, the harvest crews pack their equipment and move south, 450 miles south, across the desert into Yuma, Arizona, where winter temperatures and irrigated desert soil create a second growing window. From November through March, the Yuma-Welton region becomes the epicenter of American lettuce production. Crews that spent spring and summer in Salinas show up in Yuma within days of the California close. The same harvest gang, the same equipment operators, the same field rhythm, shifted to a different landscape. Then, in late February or early March, when Yuma starts to overheat and Salinas fields are ready again, the whole operation reverses. Trucks head north. Equipment is inspected and serviced. Rogelio makes his calls. The crew reassembles. This is not migration in any dramatic sense. It is scheduling. It is logistics. These workers are professionals following the calendar the way any skilled trade follows the work, because that is where the crop is. Some families have been running this exact circuit for 2 and 3 generations. Grandparents who started in Salinas, children born in Yuma, grandchildren who already know the difference between a mature romaine head and one that needs another 4 days. The knowledge is in the hands. The knowledge is in the timing. By 5 a.m., the harvest machine, a low-slung mechanical platform called a walk-behind cutter, or, in the larger operations, a self-propelled harvest aid, moves at a steady crawl down the bed row. The crew works alongside it. Each cutter moves at a pace that looks unhurried from a distance. Up close, the speed is startling. A skilled lettuce cutter can trim, core, and hand off a head in under 4 seconds. With a gang of 25 to 40 workers covering multiple rows simultaneously, a single pass down a bed can process 200 heads per minute. Over an 8 to 10 hour shift, a full crew can clear between 50 and 80 acres. The knives are curved, purpose-built. Workers sharpen them during breaks. The physical profile of this work is unlike almost any other harvest system in American agriculture. Lettuce grows low. The cutting position, bent at the waist, knife moving from stalk to conveyor in one continuous motion, is held for hours at a time. Back, knees, shoulders. Workers develop a kind of muscle memory that takes a full season to build. A newer cutter on the crew is easy to spot, not because they're slower, but because they tire in different places. The experienced ones have found their rhythm. Their bodies have adapted. It doesn't make the work easy. It makes it survivable over many seasons. The harvest aid carries more than workers. On the platform behind the cutting line, a separate team handles the second phase of the operation, vacuum sealing and carton packing, done entirely in the field before the product ever reaches a cooler. This is what separates the Salinas system from almost every other leafy green harvest operation in the country. A trimmer on the platform receives a head from the cutter. They strip the outer leaves, inspect the core, and send it down a short conveyor to a bagger or a liner station. A sealed carton, 24 heads of romaine, 12 heads of iceberg, is built by hand, weighed, stamped with a field code and time stamp, then moved to the edge of the platform where it drops directly into an awaiting field bin. The field bin loads a pallet. The pallet loads a refrigerated truck. The truck, in many cases, is already running alongside the harvest machine, moving at the same crawl, keeping pace. From cut head to sealed carton, under 3 minutes. From sealed carton to a cooler in Salinas, under 2 hours. From cooler to a distribution center on the East Coast, 72 to 96 hours. The mathematics of this operation don't leave room for delay. A lettuce head cut at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in the Salinas Valley can be on a shelf in Atlanta, Georgia by Friday afternoon. The system runs because every link is timed. The fog has burned off. The valley floor is now visible from the ridge, row after row of dark green heads running to the horizon, broken up by the white and orange geometry of harvest machines and refrigerated trailers. Inside the cooling facility at the edge of the growing district, product from the overnight and early morning cut is already being hydro-cooled, brought from field temperature down to 34 degrees Fahrenheit, using cold water circulation. The process takes about 30 minutes. It adds days to shelf life. Every operation in this chain is about one thing: protecting the window. Lettuce is roughly 95% water. Once cut from the root, it begins to respire. Moisture loss accelerates. The outer leaves start to brown. In summer heat, even the moderate coastal summer of Salinas, an unrefrigerated head can show quality damage in under 4 hours. This is why the trucks are already running at 4 a.m. This is why the vacuum seal stations are built directly onto the harvest machines. This is why the field crews don't stop moving. In January, in Yuma, the timeline is slightly more forgiving. Cooler ambient temperatures give the operation a small buffer. But the logistics don't relax. Product is still moving same day to distribution centers in Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Dallas. The cold chain is still active before the sun clears the desert ridgeline. Rogelio has a saying his crew knows well: dead lettuce ships, live lettuce pays. What he means is this: you can put old product on a truck. It will arrive looking fine. By the time the receiver opens the carton, it has started to turn. Claims come back. Relationships break. The premium is in freshness, and freshness starts with the cut. Not every head in a 200-acre block is ready on the same morning. One of the most underappreciated skills in this operation belongs not to the cutters or the machine operators, but to the field scouts, men and women who walk the blocks before harvest begins, checking head weight, core firmness, outer leaf condition, and internal temperature to determine which rows are ready, which need 48 more hours, and which need to come out today, regardless of size. A block that looks uniform from the road is rarely uniform at ground level. Irrigation variation, microclimate shade, row position, soil drainage, all of it affects maturity. The field scout's job is to read that variance and build a cut order that keeps the machine moving through ready product, skipping unready rows, and flagging problem areas before the cutter reaches them. On a large growing operation, 5,000 or 10,000 acres under management, there may be 4 or 5 scouts working simultaneously, each radioing back to a production coordinator who is adjusting crew positioning in real time. It is a form of precision that rarely shows up in a grocery store aisle. At 10:15 a.m., one of the harvest machines on the east block develops a belt issue on the carton conveyor. The machine stops. The crew pauses. A field mechanic, working out of a tool truck that has been tracking the operation all morning, is on the platform within 5 minutes. The repair takes 11 minutes. 11 minutes in a leafy green harvest operation with a full crew standing in the field represents a measurable cost, not a catastrophic one. But it is counted. The machines themselves, whether harvest aids, self-propelled cutters, or the larger integrated vacuum pack platforms, are complex enough that most operations employ at least one dedicated mechanic per 2 machines. These are not general mechanics. They know the specific hydraulics, the belt configurations, the sensor systems, the pneumatic pack stations. In Yuma in January, when the entire regional harvest operation is running at peak density, dozens of machines across a concentrated growing district, a single hard-to-source part can mean a full day of downtime. Operations carry spares. They share spares between sister companies when necessary. The harvest waits for nothing, but it waits slightly less badly when the right mechanic is already in the field. By 1:30 p.m., the east block is done. 48 acres cut. 1,152 cartons of romaine loaded across 6 refrigerated trailers. Each trailer already running at 34 degrees. Each truck already dispatched. The crew breaks in the shade of a field road windbreak. Sandwiches, water, a few minutes of quiet. They have a second block scheduled for 3 p.m. Rogelio walks the edge of the cut field. He is looking at the next block, not resting, planning. Somewhere in the country right now. In a distribution center in Memphis, in a cold storage dock in Philadelphia, in a produce buyer's cooler in Denver. Cartons bearing this valley's field codes are being counted, checked, and moved. The system doesn't stop because the cut is done. The system stops only when the truck delivers and the chain begins again. In 3 months, this crew will be back in Yuma. In 8 months, they'll return here. The fields will have rotated. New blocks will be up. The fog will come in off the bay at 3:47 a.m., and Rogelio will give his one word, "Vámonos." The field is quiet now. Until next season, under this video, there's a subscribe button. It's a small action, but it helps document the work that happens before the shelves are stocked. If you're drawn to the rhythm of the harvest, to the crews who move with the seasons, subscribing simply means you want to see how America feeds itself. And tell us, where are you watching from? Have you ever worked a harvest? Have you seen one? Share your experience below. That's how these stories travel.